Hello everyone, welcome back. In this today's session, I'm gonna show you on how to install Oracle Database 19C binaries, and then on top of that, how to create Oracle Database 19C. This is going to be standalone file system storage. The database, whatever I'm gonna create it, which is going to reside on my local file system, and it's not going to be ASM or it's not going to be Oracle Register. It's a pure standalone Oracle database installation along with Oracle binary installation on my Oracle VM setup. It is going to be my local lab setup. Uh, if you have missed my previous sessions on how to set up your lab on your local computer and then how to install your Linux, all those videos are covered in our previous sessions. So go ahead and watch them. Right. So now what I'll do, I'll just open my Oracle VMware VirtualBox. So that's going to be my virtual hypervisor. On top of that, I have installed my Oracle Lab 1. So I'll just start my VM. This is my Oracle Lab 1. Inside this particular VM machine, I'm going to install Oracle binaries, 19C binaries. On top of that 19C binaries, I'm going to create my 19C database. That is going to be a file system database. The file system, all the data files, control files, redo log files, everything is going to reside on the local OS file system. Right. So you might be wondering like how to download, where to download Oracle 19C software. So that also I covered in my previous session. So you just need to go to Oracle eDelivery, uh, Oracle eDelivery, and then log in with your own individual ID. If you don't have account, go ahead and create your account. Otherwise, just sign in and then provide your user ID and password. So I'm just gonna provide my user ID. All right, so my email ID. All right, so, oh, sorry for that. All right, so log in with your own user ID and password. Meantime, your server will be starting here. Yeah, your server is started here. And then I'll log in with the root password. So my server is started here. And then meantime, I'll go back. And then I can search for Oracle database 19C. Just open this Oracle database 19C, search here, and then you will see Oracle database 19C. Click on that one, it's going to add it to cart. Go back here, continue, and then select the platform that is Linux x86-64, and then continue, and then accept this terms and conditions, continue, and then I don't want this Oracle client software here. And then I don't want this grid infrastructure software here, whatever is in grid infrastructure. I only need my Oracle software. This is my Oracle software, Oracle database software. Just click on this one of the zip file 63-01. Just click on this one. It will ask you to download locally on your laptop or desktop. I'm not going to download it because I already downloaded here. You can see DB software 63-01. This is a zip file 2.8 gig. So I already downloaded here. And then this is my software here, the DB software. And then what I did here on my this lab, Oracle Lab 1, I just went on the settings here and then in this shared directory, and then I mounted that particular directory. You see this one, you Malik YouTube course OEL. If I go back here, this is the directory. I'll just go back one more directory. Malik YouTube Oracle course OEL. So this is a software where I downloaded my softwares, all DB software, grid software, everything. Just I copied this path and then I mounted as a shared drive here. And then I did a read-only mount and auto mount and then as a software directory. I just clicked OK and then OK. And then the moment you start your VM lab here, then automatically that software OEL is mounted here. So you just take a terminal here. If you do df-h and then you see this particular media software OEL, go inside that media software OEL, and then you see all the DB software, grid software, and all those things. So this is like you no need to copy your software from your C drive, whatever in this C drive, D drive, whatever, wherever you software you downloaded, you no need to copy them into your VM, inside your VM box. Already those are mounted. You can use that software directly for the installation, right? So if this is one of the way, you can directly use this shared folder use case, and then you can directly mount your whatever the software available in your C drive or D drive, you can directly mount inside a VM. If not, then usually like you can use a WinSCP, and then WinSCP, and then you can connect this IP address just to ifconfig on this particular machine. ifconfig, just do ifconfig, and you will get this particular IP address, and take that IP address and use your WinSCP, and then connect a new session, like a new session, go with the IP address and the username root, and whatever the password for that root user. Just log in here, and once the login is done, and then you can copy that software. So your softwares, your OS software, like grid software or DB software, you download it here, and you can go to that directory. I'll just double click here. I'll go into that directory, click OK, and then this is your software, and then this is your Linux work. This is your Windows server, and this is your Linux server. And then go inside your DB software, and then just drag and drop it here. So it's just gonna copy your entire that 2.7 gig, whatever the DB binary DB software, 19C database software, it will copy into your Linux box. So this is one way you can copy it directly from your Windows machine to your Linux using WinSCP. Just connect with that username and password for that IP address of your Linux server, which will connect with Windows server and Linux server. You can go to that software wherever you downloaded and just drag and drop it. So that's going to copy it. That's one way you can copy it. And then other way, instead of that, you can directly use this shared directory in your lab machine. Go here and go to settings, and then go to your shared folder, and you can mount that path wherever you downloaded 19C software. You can mount that path here. That's the other way. And then if you don't want to do any of these option, and then the third option is, and then you can directly go to your application, go to your Firefox, and then you can log in with your Oracle eDelivery site with your credentials, whatever you have it. So right now what I'll do, I'll just log into Oracle. I'll just go with Oracle eDelivery, and then Oracle Cloud Delivery Software, and then log in with your user ID and password. And then you can directly download inside your lab itself. If you have a email access, or if you have a internet access on this particular lab machine, so you can pretty much connect directly to Oracle eDelivery and then download directly inside lab itself. Let's see. Yeah, I connected to my Oracle eDelivery. I can simply search for Oracle database 19C and then search, and then same process. It will go to, it will list out this 19C software here, add to cart and continue, and then select the platform x86-64, and then continue, and then license agreement, terms and conditions agreement, click OK. And then again, same thing. This is a grid infrastructure software. You don't need to download grid infrastructure software. And this is your Oracle client. You don't need to download this Oracle client software. You need only this database software here. You can download this database software. Just click on this one. It will ask you to where to download this one. Save this file. It will go to directly, it will download inside your VM box. That's one of the other way. Like you can use either directly connect to VM box here, VM server, and then access your Oracle eDelivery and directly download here. Other ways, you can download locally on your laptop or desktop, and you can use your WinSCP and transfer that software to your VM or the Linux server. And then the other way is you have this shared folder concept here on this VM. On the setting, you can go here and select on this shared folder, and then you can add the mount point. You can mount that wherever the location you downloaded that software. Any of these three methods, you can use it whatever feasible for you. Right now, if you see, like I already have that on df-h, already used the shared folder here. I can make use of that one. That's one of the preliminary check you have to do it. And the second check is you have to create your Oracle user in order to install Oracle software here. So just do ID Oracle, and you don't have ID Oracle. Oracle user is not available here. One of the easiest way to install this Oracle user is just use user add and Oracle, and then later you can add your groups and other things. But that's going to be very tedious. But rather than that, the simplest method to create groups and users and some of the Linux grub, Linux kernel and security configuration for your database installation is just go ahead and install the Oracle RPMs. I can do yum install Oracle star. So if you do yum install Oracle star, so let's see what it says. Okay, there's a typo here. Okay, let's go back here once again. Yum install Oracle star. Right, so it says use this hyphen script broken. They got like error in Oracle Linux, this particular client, and use this hyphen script broken. So I'll just copy this hyphen script broken, and then I can append it to that same command. Yum install Oracle star, and then hyphen script broken. So if you see here, like these are the prerequisites RPM, it's going to install it. One is your Oracle CEPH, Oracle database pre-install 18C, pre-install 19C, Oracle database pre-install 19C. This RPM is very, very important. So if you go ahead and install only this RPM, or you can go ahead with Oracle star. The moment you do yum install this Oracle star, it's going to install many RPM. One is your pre-install 18C, pre-install 19C, pre-install 21C, your release Oracle server 12C release 2, Oracle server 12C release 1, 11G, like all those prerequisites RPM, it's going to install it here. I'll just go ahead and click yes. It's going to install all those RPMs. So once it install these RPMs, along with that, it's gonna install your, it's gonna create your groups, it's gonna create your all the Oracle users, all the grub, sorry, all the kernels and all the security.limit.config, all the parameters it's going to set it by its own. So you don't need to, you don't need to set all those parameters. Right. So let's let it go on. Meantime, once it's getting installed, so I can go ahead and unzip that software. I can take one more session here, and then what I'll do, like I can do df-h, and then I'll go inside the software here, cd/media software OEL, and then I can go inside my DB software, and then this is my zip file. So I need to unzip into my Oracle home. So for that, I need to create my Oracle home directory. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do mkdir-p /u01 app Oracle product 19.0.0 /db home 1. So this is going to be my Oracle home location. If you see user on app Oracle product 19.0.0 db home, this is going to be my Oracle home. I'm just going to create that Oracle home. Right. So and then I'm going to do chmod 777 for u01, and then I'm going to use chown Oracle :u01. Right, so it says Oracle user is not yet exist. If I do ID Oracle, so Oracle user not yet exist. So once this installation is done here, and you see that Oracle user got created. So I'll just wait for a few more minutes, and then we'll see that Oracle user is automatically will get created here. If I do cat etc passwd, and then you see right now Oracle user is not exist here. If I do cat etc group, and then I don't see any of those users, like oinstall, DBA, Oper, and all those groups are not available here. Once this installation is done, this RPM installation is done, you will see all of those users and other things. Right now it's almost done here. And let's see, let's verify ID Oracle. Right, you can see Oracle user got created here. If I do cat etc passwd, and you see this user, Oracle user got created here. And again, if you do cat etc group, cat etc group, and you will see all those users like React DBA, KM DBA, DG DBA, Backup DBA, Oper DBA, OInstall. All those groups got created automatically. That's the beauty of this particular Oracle Star RPM installation. The moment you install this prerequisites RPM, Oracle 19C or Oracle 18C or 21C, that's going to create all the prerequisites users, groups, and other things. Now you can see ID Oracle. If I do, I see all the Oracle users with a secondary primary group, secondary group, and all those got created here. Now I can go ahead and change the permission for user one, ch1 Oracle : user one. So user one permission will get changed slash user one. If I do ll, I can see this app is owned by okay, I can make it recursive here, ch1 -r, that recursively it will get changed. So if I do ll, now everything app and inside subdirectories, everything is owned by Oracle now. So now I can directly go inside df-h, and then I can go inside /media software, and then I can go inside DB software, right? So this is my, sorry, this is my DB software, media SFOEL DB software, and then I have my 19C database software here. I can directly unzip this into my 19C directory, whatever I created here. This is my 19C directory. I'm just gonna unzip this one here inside this 19C directories. So let's go back here, and I'll just do unzip that. This is a software unzip, and then I'm going to use -d, and I'm going to unzip into my 19C Oracle home directory here. Unzip this 19C software and -d, and then directly I'm going to unzip inside my 19C software. So it's going to take a couple of minutes. We'll wait for that, and then we'll proceed further after that. And then if I go with other station here, let it go. This will take some time to unzip. If I go inside that user one app Oracle product 19C DB home, if I do ls, now these all folders, whatever you are unzipping, it will be owned by root, and later after that unzip is done, you have to change it to Oracle user. So for that you need to go one directory back. It will be like user one app Oracle product 19C, and then you will be having your DB home one. You have to use something called ch1 -r Oracle : and DB home. So if you use this -r, and whatever available inside this DB home, all these directories, whatever it is owned by root, everything will get changed to Oracle user. Right, so we'll give it 1 or 2 minutes, and then once this unzip is done, then we'll proceed further. Right, so now the unzip is successful, and then now I'll go ahead and change that DB home directory, and then inside subdirectory permission to Oracle. So if I do it and then go inside DB home, do ls-ltr, like all got changed to Oracle. So we're good now. Now I will go ahead and change the password for my Oracle user. Oracle user got created anyway, but I don't know the password for my Oracle user. I'll just simply use passwd Oracle, and then it'll ask for set a new password for Oracle user. I can use a password for my Oracle user. Right, so password is set, and then go ahead and install this run installer, and then make this as a Oracle. Whatever you unzipped, it will be gonna be your Oracle binaries. You have to run that run installer, and Oracle binary will be ready. So what I'll do now, remember, like right now you logged in as a root user. You can verify using this click here. Right now it is logged in as a root user, and now if you do su Oracle switch user Oracle, and then go inside this particular directory, and then do ls, and you have this run installer. And then if you run this one, it's not going to launch the GUI screen. If you run it, it says unable to export your display. Even though you logged in with here Oracle user, but it says unable to set the display, because you basically logged in as a root user and then you use this switch user. So that's not going to work here. So you have to log in with the Oracle user directly. For that, go here and then click on this root and log out or switch user. I do log out, and then it will be logged out here. and then it'll ask you to log in with Oracle user. You can see this Oracle user, click on that Oracle user, and then log in with that password, whatever you set it. And then once you log in with Oracle user, and then you can run that run installer, it will launch the screen now. And now you can verify it. Okay, these are the first time whenever you log in, you will see this display screen. Go next, and then finish it. That's just a display screen. So now you can click here. You can see you logged in as a Oracle user here. Now you can take a terminal session here, and then you can make it expand here. View, zoom in. It'll zoom in. It'll go on here. And then go to your Oracle Home, U01 app, Oracle product 19C, DB Home. And now you can do this run installer, and then you will get the display screen here, run installer, and then it will launch the GUI screen at the display screen so that you can set up Oracle Home. Right, so you got your GUI screen here. Right, so I'll just first do setup software only. When the Oracle Home is ready, then I'll use the DBCA to create my database. And then I'll go next, and then it's going to be single instance database installation, and then enterprise edition, and then this is your Oracle base, and this is your Oracle Home. Go next, and then this is your inventory, and then I'll go with the OInstall as the default group. And then all these groups, your database administrator, operator, backup, data guard administrator, and key management administrator, and rack cluster administrator, all those groups I can just go with as a OInstall. If you want like different groups, you can go ahead and select the different groups. But right now I can just go with the OInstall as a default group. And then I'm not going to select this one. Go next. It'll do pre-checks, whatever the memory, whatever the kernel parameters, all those set properly or not. Everything set properly. You can save your response file here. And then this is your summary page, setup software only. It's the base, Oracle Home, and the groups, whatever you selected, and root script execution is manual, and your inventory, and then the inventory group. So go ahead and install it. So this is your detailed short description. You can watch it here. And then you can take one more terminal session if needed. Just go back here. I can take, okay, let's minimize this one and take one more terminal session, keep it here, and then go here, and then I'll take one more session here, and you can monitor those logs. Anyway, I'll just keep it side by side. This is your response file automatically got saved here, and this is your installation screen. And then again, installation is almost done. So it got it asks you to run this Aura inst root.sh. I'm just gonna copy this one. Then I'm gonna log into root user here. I have to run those script as a root user. You can see run these two script with the root user. I'll just run the first one, user on app Aura inventory, Aura inst root.sh. That's gonna change the inventory, whatever that user on app Aura inventory. It will change the permission for read write for the OInstall group, and it will change the group permission to OInstall. And then the second one, I'm going to run it, second script, then done. So second script also done here, you can see, and then go back and click OK. Done. So your installation is done. Your Oracle Home installation is successfully done. So how you can verify your installation is done successful or not? One way is you can go inside, you can cat etc Aura inst, sorry, Aura inventory. What was that one? /etc, sorry, cat /etc Aura inst.loc. So you have to do cat etc Aura inst.loc, that is inventory location it will tell, and go inside your inventory. This is your inventory. Copy it and go inside that. And then inside that there's a context.xml, and then inside that there's the inventory.xml, cat inventory.xml, and you pretty much see that your Oracle Home is registered here. So that indicates your Oracle Home installation is successful. The other ways, like you can verify that ls patches, user on app Oracle product 19c DB Home /opatch opatch ls patches is a command which will give you that the default patches whatever installed on that Oracle home. That's one way you can verify your Oracle home. And then other way is like instead of ls patches, you can use ls inventory, ls inventory. So that will give you long description of your ls inventory output. Like this is your long description of all the patches and ls inventory information. That indicates your Oracle home, whatever you installed, it's all perfectly fine. So now Oracle home installation is done. So on top of that, you have to create a database now. So now what I'll do, I'll go inside my Oracle home. So this is my Oracle home. I'll just copy it and I'll go inside that Oracle home and I'll go inside bin. And then this is my Oracle home and then bin location. Inside that I have something called DBCA. DBCA stands for Database Configuration Assistant. With the DBCA, you're going to create a new database. So I'll just use /DBCA. And then that's going to launch the GUI screen. Again, remember, you have to log in directly with the Oracle user in order to get this GUI screen. Right, so you got your GUI screen here, create database. That's a command like create database, click next, and then provide whatever name you want. I will provide name DevDB. DevDB as name, and then you can remember this is a file system only. I'm going to create this database on the file system, not on the ASM or not on the NFS or not on SAN or not on any storage. It's going to be local storage on this particular VM itself. So file system only, and you will see Oracle base. Ora data is my data file location, and my FRA is Oracle base FRA location. That is my Oracle FRA location. Then I'm going to give a password for my sys and system user. Password is given here. And if you want to create this DevDB as a container database, you can checkbox this one. If you don't want to create as a container database, just uncheck that one. And then you can just go next. It's going to assume everything and it will go to the summary page. You can see these are all like your summary page of the database instance, single instance database in SID, and your container equal to no, and database storage is file system, and memory configuration is automatic memory management, and it's a general purpose, and then all initialization parameter, and then all your database character sets, database file systems, OMF file system, all your system sysocs undo, user table space, control file, and multiplex control files, all your redo log groups. And if you want to control any of these parameters, you can go back here. Instead of typical configuration, go with the advanced configuration. And then you will see all those multiple options here. What type of database you want to create? And then what's your global name? What's your SID? Is it your container database or not? If you enable it container database, you have to give that PDB name. If you don't want, you can just uncheck that one. Go next. And then it's going to be like database storage. It's going to use your data file system here. Database files are going to reside here, and it's going to be using OMF managed file system. And then go next, it's going to be your FRA, and it's going to be enable your archive log or not, archive log mode or not. You can enable or disable it here. And this is going to be your archive log location. Go next. And then you want to configure listeners or not, you can go here, configure your listener, and go further. You want to configure your database vault and label security, go ahead and enable here. Otherwise, you just leave it if you don't want to enable this database vault and label security. I'll just leave it as it is for now. And then this is your memory configuration, how much SGA, how much PGA, automatic memory management, automatic shared memory management, or automatic memory management. You can select any option you want. And sizing, how much processor you want, what's a character set you want, like default AL32 UTF-8. That's a universally used character set data Unicode. So I can use that default. And connection mode, you want dedicated or say default is dedicated one. I'll go with that. And if you want to create a sample schema, you can go ahead and enable the sample schema. Otherwise, go next. And then you want to configure your enterprise manager, go ahead here. Otherwise, no worries, just go next. And sys and system password, you already provided default password. And then go next. And then create database, just checkbox. And if you want to enable any post script, you can select here. Otherwise, leave it blank, just next. And it's going to be your summary here. Right, and then go and click this finish. That's going to start installation of your database. So you can go ahead and check the log file here, use your own app, CFG tools, DBCA, and trace. That's the log file, and this is your database alert log. You can pretty much go inside this log, alert log, or this database installation trace files, and then you can tail that one. That's always I recommend, like I can inform most of you, more like everyone, to always tail the log files. So this is your trace files. I can go inside that devdb and then ls-ltr, and then this is your trace file, tail-f trace file, and then this is your inflation screen. This is your trace file log, and if you want, you can go ahead and tail your database alert log. I'll go and then I'll take one more session. Open terminal, then take one more session here. I'll keep it down and then I'll keep this one here. Then I can tail that cd paste. This is a tail database alert log. And then this is your database alert log. So always tail your database alert log and installation screen along with this GUI screen. And then details, the moment you click details, it will be like short description of which step is happening right now. Right now, database files are copied and creating and starting your database instance. You can see this is your creating and starting your database instance here. Shutting down your instance completed. Now it is going to start my database instance. Yeah, this is my parameter file. It read and it started my instance here. All right, so it will take few more minutes to complete my installation. I'll just wait for that. Right, so still the database installation and starting completed and completing database creation. That's a post steps it's going on. You can see this data patch completed and doing a post steps. As per this, I can see completing database creation. That's a post steps it's happening now. And shutting down instance, and then it'll do a final restart. We give few more minutes and then database will be ready. Right, stopping database background processes. Yeah, stopping your database, alter database close, alter database close normal, database closed here. And then now it is starting my database. Shutting down archival process, archival disabled, instance shutdown completed. So instance, it went down, now it's going to start my instance again. Right, you can see it's reading my P file or SP file and starting my database back now. Starting all the processes. Right, it started almost, my database is back online now here. Right, so that's you don't need, like if you just monitor your this installation screen, GUI screen, you don't know whether it's progressing or not. The moment you tail your alert log and then installation log, that will give you correct picture what's happening, whether it's progressing or not. You can see by looking at this log itself, you can tell that okay, it is in progress, it is going on. Again, it's going to do reboot one more time. Okay, database is closed. Alter database dismount. Right, so we'll give few more minutes and then that's it. The database will be like ready. Right, again it is starting the database installation now. Sorry, again it's starting my database instance now. Right, okay. So far it's going good. Yeah, instance is started now here. Done. So your database installation is completed. Database creation completed, and below is the detail. So I'll just go ahead and close this one, and then I'll cancel this log and cancel this one. And then if I go back here, if I do ps-ef grep smon, and I can see devdb. And then if I do cat/etc vara tab, that will tell inside vara tab. I'll just maximize this one. I'll just clear this once again. If I do cat etc vara tab, inside this vara tab, you'll see this one, devdb database, which is got created under this Oracle home. So if I do dot space vara env, that's a environment setting, right? If I do env grep vara, I don't have any environment as set now. So I need to run space vara env. It'll ask for SID. So this is my SID. So you have to do ps-ef grep smon, and then you will see this SID devdb. Do dot space vara env, and then you see devdb, and then environment is set. Now you can run the same command, env grep vara. You will see Oracle SID, Oracle base, and Oracle home. Everything is set. Now you can do SQL plus /sysdba, and then your database is online. So you can see select name comma open underscore mode from $, database, and then you can see devdb, which is in read write mode. Select instance underscore name comma status from $, instance. So this is your instance devdb, and it is in open mode. So that's the easiest way of creating your database along with installation of your Oracle binaries. So that concludes the installation of your database in the file system. If you do select file underscore name from db underscore data underscore files, and you can see all the data files, users, undo, system, sysocs, all the data files are coming from /user on app Oracle vara data. That's a local file system on this particular server. And if you do show parameter SP file, and then your SP file is coming from your Oracle home DBS location. If you do show parameter control, and your control files, you can see one is control file user on app Oracle vara data, and your control file 1, and other one is user on app Oracle fast recovery area and control file 2. All your control files are coming from your uh, local file system. And if you do select member from $, log file, all your log files you can see redo log 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All the 6 redo logs are coming from a local file system. So this is a purely standalone installation on the file system, on local file system on this particular Oracle Lab 1 server. So this is one way, like you had to start going forward now on, you have to start this Oracle Lab 1, and then which is going to start this GUI mode, and you have to open this putty session or open this terminal, and you have to access the database. Otherwise, you can connect and check the IP address of that server. This is your IP address, and take that IP address and then connect using your putty session or mobile exterm. Click on this sessions SSH and connect to that IP address, and then log in with root user or Oracle user, whatever user you have the username and password, you can log in that one. And then after that, do ps-ef grep smon, same process. It will be like list out database is running or not, and log into Oracle user. And because this is a devdb which is installed with your Oracle user, so you have to log in, switch user Oracle, and you have to again verify env pipeline grep vara, and then it says no environment is variable set. So if you try to use SQL plus /sysdba, it will not connect because environment variable is not set. You have to do dot space vara env, and then which will ask for SID. You can run this devdb, and then once again verify the environment. You can see env pipeline grep vara. You will see SID base and Oracle home, everything is set automatically the moment you run this vara env. And then you can run this SQL plus SSDB. It will directly connect to your database. And then you can run the same command, whatever command you ran it here, you can run the same command here. Select name, comma, open underscore mode from $, database. You can see devdb, which is in read write. Select instance underscore name, comma, status from $, instance. So other command devdb, which is in open, and then select file underscore name from dba underscore data underscore files. So all data files are coming from your local system here on this particular server, and then show parameter sp file, and then your sp file residing under your db home dbs location. Show parameter control files. All your, you can see these control files. One is coming from Vora data and one is coming from your FRA multiplex control file, and other one is select member from $log file. All your log file 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all 6 log files are coming from your same local storage. So you can go ahead and physically verify here. User on app Oracle Vora data devdb ll, and you can see control file, you can see data files and online log files. Do lsfnltr star. You can see inside control file you have one control file here. Inside online log file you have 1, 2, 3, 3 online read log files. Inside data file you can see all those data files. And then other ways, like go inside your FRA, that is fast recovery area. Go inside that devdb and do ll, and you see again archive log control files and unrendered log files. If you do lsfnltr star, you can see your archive log also getting generated here. Your control files, other multiplex control files are here, other multiplex read logs are here. So everything is resides under local file system. That is the installation of your Oracle binaries and then creation of your database in standalone server with the OS file system. That's it for the today's session, guys. We'll come up with the next session with the Oracle restart server installation with the ASM grid infrastructure installation. Thank you, guys.